Alright, in this video I want to give some people some general information as well as details on how to approach the game, Mega Man X. So let's start off with the bosses. First off is Vile. And guess what? You really can't kill this boss. Rather, let them knock your health down till you only have a few points left and then get caught in one of its energy nets to move on with the game's story. That's all you have to do for this one. Now, the first boss I suggest you select, you don't necessarily have to beat this guy, but you do want the boots. So again, Chill Penguin's going to be the first stage you play through. To beat the boss of this level, if you get to him and he defeats you, just move on to Storm Eagle as long as you have the boots, and then you can come back after Flame Mammoth when you have his weakness. Chill Penguin will move by sliding on the floor, breathing to make penguin statues that can block X's shots, and then jumping up, usually on a hook, to blow said statues at X. Your best defense is to hold onto the wall when you have a clear shot, either because the penguin's on the move or he's jumping up on top to throw a blizzard. You can shoot him. Memorize his movements, and Chill Penguin isn't really that hard. It's blowing ice, slide on the floor, jump up on hook, basically, is all you have to really remember with him. Then comes Storm Eagle, and he is another one you're going to have to deal with using your X Buster. And if you're wondering why I recommend coming here when Spark Mandrill is weak against Chill Penguin's weapon, simple. You're going to get a heart tank, sub tank, and a helmet upgrade in this stage that are easy to get if you have the boot upgrade. So, you want to do this stage first, and I should also mention Spark Mandrill stage becomes easier when you beat Storm Eagle first. Storm Eagle is usually weak against the Chameleon Sting, however he is easy to beat with the X Buster because his main attacks do no damage. They just attempt to knock you over the ledge that you're fighting him on. Not a problem now that we have those dash boots. Hit him when he's on the ground with charge shots, and when he starts dashing at you, just dash out of the way. The only attack you have to worry about him is him spitting out eggs full of smaller birds at you, and a charge shot should get those out of the way. Keep up the pressure, and Storm Eagle should go down quickly. Flame Mammoth. If you have beaten Chill Penguin, then getting the heart tank is easy. Still, there is an arm grade, a heart tank, and a sub tank that is also easy to obtain in the stage if you have both the boots and the helmet. Plus, we now have a boss weakness weapon. Use the Storm Tornado against him and watch out when he spits out flame and goo that makes it hard to jump. He also loves to change directions of the conveyor belt X is on. A few well hits with the Storm Tornado and he will go down. Spark Mandrill. They don't call it Spark Mandrill Syndrome for nothing. Hitting him with the ice will freeze him and give him very little invincibility time. Just time your shots right to hit him as soon as he breaks out. After 3, though, he will gain some immunity enough time to where he can launch an attack, either sparks on the ground or he will dash at the wall, so be prepared to jump on the wall in a hurry when you see him coming. He goes down pretty easy if you have his weakness weapon, though. Armored Armadillo. I highly recommend going against Armored Armadillo with just your X Buster, as Armadillo can easily block and even reflect shots back at you. That said, one hit from Mandrill's weapon and his armor falls off, making him perfectly weak against just regular Buster shots. That said, even after his armor falls off, he's still weak against the Spark, but if you wish, you can just use X-Buster shot rounds at him. He likes to roll up in a ball and run around, and you can sometimes shoot shots from his head. Again, using the Electric Spark should finish him off in due time. Launch Octopus. Use Rolling Shield to get rid of his missiles that he fires and hit him with that. He also likes to jump around just a bit, so time your shots for when he's on the floor. If he starts spinning like this, dash out of the way. If you get sucked up into his vortex, you can launch onto X and suck some of his energy out and recovering his energy in the process. You don't want this to happen. Again, a few rolling shields will take this guy out for good. Boomer Kuwanger. Use the homing missiles. They will always hit him when Boomer is teleporting around. Boomer will also react to getting hit, stopping whatever attack he was doing, so don't be afraid to spam the missiles if you got them. Steam Chameleon. Last boss, and this guy can be a bit of a pain. He is usually hanging onto the wall where he can throw out stingers or latch onto the wall and drop spikes. To make matters worse, the boomerang cutter isn't the most precise weapon in the game. Still, jump up whenever he becomes visible and fire out at him at close range, so you don't have to worry about whether or not the weapon will curve away from him. And this will stop any of his attacks. He usually get right back up and start attacking again, and when he does, try to smack him down again quickly. You can grab a hold of the boomerangs that you missed to recover your shots, so don't worry too much about your aim. After he's dead, a scene will play with 0. Time to hit Sigma's Fortress. Oh, but before you do, go to Armored Armadillo stage. The first area with the bats is usually a good area to replenish those E-tanks because they have a high likelihood of dropping energy capsules. So here is a few tips to get through some of Sigma's Fortress and get through the unique bosses that are in the fortress. In the first segment of the fortress, use Storm Tornado to get past enemies. When you reach this area, switch to the missiles and try to get around these turrets the best you can. Once you're in the fortress, use Mega Buster or Storm Tornado to get through the rest of the bad guys. At the end of this, you will be put up against Vile. Again, you can't kill him in his ride armor, so just get caught again, and what happens next can't be avoided. Now it's real boss fight time. And Vile is weak against pretty much everything, but I recommend using Rolling Shields because he is on the ground enough and it is fast enough to hit him. You want to save some of those missiles and the Chameleon Sting for what's going to go on next. After Vile is dead, you hit this part right here. So charge up the Chameleon Sting and use its invisibility it offers to help you up this climb right here without getting hit too much. You can use missiles if you want, but you're going to take a while and use up a lot of your missiles, and you want to save them for Boomer Kuwanger, who's right on top of this wall. And no, I'm not going to give you hints against the Maverick bosses. Their fights are pretty much unchanged here. After Boomer's dead, switch to the Tornado again and blow through the enemies in this room away. The boss at this stage is probably one of the trickier ones in the game that you can come across. Okay, you have to watch where the lines go and try to track where the spider will land at the best of your ability. You have to try to be right in front of it so you can fire off an ice shot as quickly as you can, but you don't want to be underneath it or else you'll get hit. He also can launch smaller spiders at you, so this boss is a major pain in the butt. It'll take some patience and probably a few E-tanks to finish this one off. In the second fortress, it's not as hard as the first fortress, but you have to face Chill Penguin and Storm Eagle in this stage. Use the Flame Mammoth weapon and Chameleon Sting weapons against them to finish them off quickly. When you get to the area with the ride armors, quickly blow up a pilot before you can get into his ride armor and steal it. You just have to rush back into the room where you fought Chill Penguin. If he gets into his ride armor, you'll be safe there while you shoot and blow up one ride armor, and then it should quickly respawn to kill the pilot again if that happens. The ride armor makes this area easy, but watch out, there are small robots always coming down that will succeed in getting a hit on you if you or the ride armor, so hurry through here before you take too much damage and the ride armor blows up, leaving you defenseless. In the next area after the ride armor, just use missiles to get things out of the way. For the main boss in this area, use Chameleon Sting against the eyes and be prepared to wall jump when the walls move in. It's a pain, but be careful not to get hit in the middle part until the eyes are destroyed, unless you're either foolish or pro enough to be able to aim at the remaining eye even when it's on the other side of the wall. After all the eyes and middle part are destroyed, the boss is destroyed and X can move on to the next area. The third part of Sigma Fortress can be summed up like this: short area with a few enemies from upcoming Maverick boss stage, plus a few power-ups, plus boss. Repeat 5 times for the remaining Mavericks. Most of these power-ups are easy enough to figure out and to get. I have one tip though. When you get close to the end with the last boss, which is Flame Mammoth, you will need to charge up the Chameleon Sting and then quickly dash over the spikes to get the health pickups and the 1-up. The final guy in this area is weak against the boomerang. Get out of his way when he dashes and try not to stand on top of him for very long or else you risk getting crushed. Jump up and nail him with the boomerang weapon whenever you can, and the next stage is Sigma himself. Sigma Fortress. If you don't have full E-tanks and you didn't stop by Armored Armadillo, refill by shooting the caterpillars. They have a high likelihood of health pickups. I recommend going in with 4 E-tanks full because you have 3 somewhat difficult boss fights ahead. Sigma's Dog. Use shotgun ice and try to avoid the beams he fires and wall jump out of the way. A few shots of shotgun ice is all it takes to knock this boss out, but he does manage to get a few hits on you most of the time. Sigma. Anyways, the next boss is Sigma himself. His main attack is the wall jump. Again, all you have to do is jump out of his way the best you can. He can also fire small shots out of his head. Whenever he lines himself just right, fire an electric spark at him when he's wall dashing around. He's not a super tough boss to beat once you figure out his pattern and where he's wall jumps to, but it might take a few tries and a few mistakes. After he blows up, get ready for the real fight as his head attaches to this monstrosity. Okay, so a few quick pointers for this. If you don't have 3 out of your 4 E-tanks remaining, you might want to think about just killing yourself off and starting over again to save some time killing caterpillars, because this guy hits hard. His weakness is his head, and he's only weak against the rolling shield, meaning you're going to have to jump up and hit him with that. If you run out of rolling shield, a fairly charged Mega Buster shot can hit him, but it takes 1 damage point off him, just 1. As far as attacks, his hands, when they can open, shoot out sparks. His main head can fire at either flame or sparks. For flames, try to hunch against the wall the best you can, and you should avoid it. For sparks, you're going to have to dash between them because they can get into the corner there. Eventually, he will lower one of his hands, jump on it, and ride it up. Then jump and fire out rolling shields to hit him. Then, after a while, he will die. This will be an extremely hard fight, especially if you're a beginner, but with a little persistence, he will go down. Peace will reign now. The evil Sigma has been defeated. Oh, and for those who are going to just master the Hadouken getting up here, Sigma's final form is completely immune to it, so don't waste your time.